Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Every time I come down, I try to tell a different story, and I hope I don't tell the same one twice, or you want to hear some others. I can go any way you want to go. We can't hear it? There you go. Okay. Okay, this is 1937 in Price, Utah. There's an ad in the Salt Lake. Who remembers the Salt Lake Telegram? Anybody remember the Salt Lake Telegram, Salt Lake Tribune? There was a big celebration there. It says, don't, and the flyers are put out, and I'll give you some of them there. It says, don't miss this or you'll be sorry. On Friday, September 3rd, 1937, Matt Warner is chosen to be the Grand Marshal of the parade. And this is the exact handkerchief he wore, the Grand Marshal of the parade there, in a little open buggy. And with him was J. Braken Lee, the first elected mayor in Price, Utah. I can hold it. Okay.
Well, you're not getting close enough and they can't hear you in the back.
Can you hear me now? I'm going to eat this mic then.
Okay.
So anyway, they advertised the parade here and all the things that was going to go on. Jay Braken Lee was the first mayor, and he went from here up to Salt Lake and was governor of Utah. Anybody remember Jay Braken Lee? Okay. He lived right on our street, 3 doors up. How he's having his big house built here in Price, in my grandpa's old house there on 4th South and 3rd East. And so it's a red brick house there, and that's where Jay Braken Lee lived. I went to school with his daughter Joan, and we had, as little kids, some wild times together. We rode our tricycles together, that kind of wild stuff. But anyway, the Price City Band will be playing out of the high school. We'll have their big, remember the big fur hats they used to have and the fur vests all the band members had? They were coming down Price City and and just ahead of them will be Matt Warner, like I said before, in his little open buggy there. Then they're going to have, as the paper went on to say, they're going to have a melodrama. Now this melodrama will be broadcast on KSL radio. KOA radio wasn't in business them days. So it's KSL radio. No TV down here. I bet nobody but me remembers when there weren't TV down here. But, and that's another story. But anyway, we're going to have a big program there, and they'll go over to the park, and we're going to have all kinds of events there. And we're even going to have a shooting contest. And Mayor Lee promised anybody could outshoot Matt Warner would get a silver dollar or a gold dollar. And there's not very many that could even outshoot him. In fact, Mayor Lee said there, he said, look, he says, we got a new police force here, new deputies. He says, and they don't even know how to know which end of the gun to shoot. Matt, you think you could give them some lessons? He says, well, I guess for a little gold dollars in my pocket, I could do that. And so, what did they do? I'm going to show you what they did. They went to the telephone poles, the power poles, and they put nails in there. And for twice a week, they had to spend 2 hours trying to see who could drive their nail in the rest of the way into the power pole. Now, wouldn't that be kind of scary? Right down, just up there by the wood hill there, the power pole's up there. Pardon?
Shooting at it?
Shooting at it. They had to finish trying. They started the big roofing nails, and then they had to shoot and drive them in the rest of the way. And that's written gospel. So it's what he really did there. So he taught all that police force how to shoot. Now Matt could shoot even from the hip.
I think it's before. A little bit
Before 1937?
No, sorry.
Okay. Anyway, so that's what the program's going to be about here, right in Price City. And So after they learned to shoot, and some of them got their gold dollars from the mayor, then the mayor says, you know, now Helper, I understand, the coal mines wanted to make a lot of money when they opened up here. So what they did is sponsored all these people from Italy, from Greece, Czechoslovakia, all over to come here and all work. Well, you know, there are all those different languages. And it got so ridiculous if you'd say, okay, let's shovel this coal up, and some of them thought they were saying sit down and rest. Because there's so many languages, 5 languages here, at least 5 languages. And it was even segregated. I remember there was, now this is what they said, this is Wapville over here, this is Greekville over on this street. They all wanted to move in together so they could understand each other, and that's natural. So anyway, there was a lot of contention. So they needed a good police force. And of course, Matt was on that police force. I want to talk to you today about some of the things I've talked to you about. His gun here that he shot out of somebody's hand. Anybody heard that story? Well, I'll tell you that. I'll jump ahead a little bit here then. Matt had chased this guy off the street several times for making, in the beer joints and that, making a lot of trouble and starting fights. So Matt sent him to jail for 6 months up in Salt Lake. Well, Matt was walking down there by the railroad station one night, and all at once, this guy came up to him and he says, Matt, I got you covered. I got you covered. And he says, well, who is this? And he told him who he was. And he said, I'm going to shoot you, he says, because you sent me up there to prison. It was hell up there. And so Matt says, well, he says, you believe in doing one good turn. Can I roll myself a cigarette? So Matt got out his Bull Durham, started to roll himself a cigarette, and watching that guy over his shoulder and turned around. And Matt always carried another gun underneath his vest there. And as he turned around like that, lighted up, goes, boom! This gun fell out of the guy's hand. And to prove it, you can see where my dad got it after and had it welded. It broke the handle off. So that is the gun. It's a .38. It was made in Spain. Black powder shells, so it's never been shot. But it's neat to have this old replica here. So Matt kept this gun around and told everybody that he shot it out of his hand. And he fell down and he says, I'm hurting. Matt says, where you shot? And I think I've been shot in the head at least. And so Matt went over and picked him. He says, get your butt up. And he kicked him up and took him to jail. He says, now, I'm going to put you 6 foot under. If I ever see you or any of my deputies see you, he says, you'll never do this again. And so anyway, that's the actual gun that Matt shot out of his hand. How he could do that under his vest, I don't know. I couldn't do that.